Hello everyone, this is Jason Harrell, your Chief External Affairs Officer here at FICPA, and welcome to Capitol Brief, which is everything you need to know about Legislative Session Week in 3 minutes or less. And we're joined by a special guest today, Lauren Jones, Director of Legislative and Political Affairs here at FICPA, here to help us wrap up Week 7 of the 2026 Legislative Session. And Lauren, first and foremost, I guess we just have to start with kind of the big picture of where we're at with only 2 weeks to go, not that we're counting. But this week, the legislature, really most of the committees held their last meeting of the session. So what that really means is if you don't have your bill either through committee or most of the way through, you're probably not going to make it to the finish line as the legislature turns their attention to the floor.
And as we always allude to, we have a tunnel system here in the Florida legislature. About 2,000 bills are filed annually every year, and it kind of funnels down, and so we really hit kind of the last and final. All of those last and final bills, the couple hundred few are gonna see the end, and we'll see.
Busy week.
Yeah.
Bills making their way through Senate and the House on the floor this week, passing bills. So Lauren, let's turn to last week. We told everyone they passed the budget for the year. That the House and Senate have their budget proposals out there, which means they have to negotiate the differences, which means budget conference. But the first thing they have to do is agree to what we call allocations, which is the big pots they use to negotiate the differences, and we haven't quite got there yet.
We haven't quite got there yet, but we're still a little early. We still have time. I would say this weekend may have been a little bit premature to get it done, so they're still working through. We expect maybe allocations in the next week.
Yeah, I would say so. So with that, Lauren, that's in the progress. The next big news of the week was this week they rolled out their tax proposals for the year, which we've been waiting on. And so, Lauren, talk a little bit about what the House and Senate have done.
So, importantly, for kind of the lay of the land, the House will be the leader in this year's budget. They will be kind of housing, no pun intended, for this year's budget, and the Senate will have the tax package. So the Senate will take lead on the tax package. A lot of the usual suspects we see, a lot of the holidays, but differently from the last couple of years, we're seeing a lot of initiatives within. I think
stuff that was heard in other bills that kind of got rolled up into the tax package, which will now be vetted between the House and the Senate.
And we're used to a lot of the holidays. Obviously, there was the sports holidays, the hurricane holidays, and things of that nature. The schools, which some of these moms love, the school holidays. So it was more initiatives and more of the proposed policies that we've seen in this year's session.
And Lauren, we have to note one big thing for our members. The legislature has made a decision on how they're going to handle the federal tax changes found in the One Big Beautiful Bill. They've made a decision, at least filed in the Senate proposal, which the House seems to be aligned on, to decouple from several provisions. So we just encourage our members to look at our full update so you can get all the details on what the legislature is proposing as it regards to how Florida will implement the federal tax changes, the corporate tax changes that were done in the One Big Beautiful Bill. Now, Lauren, let's wrap up really quickly with our FICPA priorities. House Bill 333 has not been heard in the House. We know that Senate Bill 364 has passed the Senate, but there's no House companion there, so that's where that sits for now. And then the bill that we've been concerned about that has the elimination of the Board of Accountancy also is just in the Commerce Committee and has not been heard again. So 2 weeks to go, that's where we sit on the two main priorities, just sort of a no news. That's where it sits.
Yes, and there's still a lot of work to be done. Obviously, the budget negotiations will commence here shortly. The tax package needs to be negotiated, and those final items really need to come down to the wire. Next week will be a lot of the floor sessions.
A lot of time on the floor, a lot of back and forth, and a lot of the final issues will become decided. Now, Lauren, not that any of us are counting, but supposedly there's 2 weeks left, so we're going to be watching very closely as we kind of go down the runway and hopefully land this plane for the 2026 legislative session. So let's just go ahead and wrap it up. We'll be back next week to give you guys a full update as we head into the final week of legislative session after next week. So tune in next week for Capitol Brief, which is everything you need to know about legislative session week in 3 minutes or less.